to the channel. It's me, Callum from Westwood Table Soccer, and today is episode 2 of the Leeds United Centenary special. Now, in the first episode, we took a look at 5 kits from 1920 all the way up into 1960-61 season. Well, they transitioned from that first kit, the black and white stripes. I still don't know why they wore black and white stripes. No one's got back to me yet. So if you do know why they wore black and white stripes, please drop it in the comments of this video or the first video rather, so that I can get the answer. I'd love to know the answer as to why they wore that kit. So today we are going to be carrying on from 1960-61, and we're going to make our way into, by the end of this episode, into the Premier League. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. My name's Callum. This channel was all about studio painting, and this video and this little series is all about the creation of some special Leeds United frames, celebrating their 100-year history from 1920 to 2019-20, which will be this season. So without further ado, let's get started then and talk about the kits that are going to be in this one. Now, the first one is coming up for you now. First kit then we're going to talk about today is this one. This is the 60-61 kit. Only from September 1960 through to 61, because if you saw in the previous episode, the blue kit with the yellow trim was actually the home kit for this season. But on the 17th of September, in a 4-4 draw with Middlesbrough at home, Leeds used these change kits with their usual white home shorts and white socks, and from that day forward they wore it as their home kit for the rest of the season, and that was it really. The white on white combination identity was born for Leeds, and they used that colour for the rest of the season, and indeed to this day. So Don Revie is often given credit for Leeds' transition to the all white strip, but it was actually Jack Taylor in 60-61 that chose this one. Now, we've put this one on 3 different base combinations. The bog standard Leeds all white base, always a classic. All of these bases work because of the amount of colours in the kit. You've got 3 different colours in there. I always use grey as an alternative to white sometimes, just because it brings that little bit of colour in, a little bit of difference. And the blue obviously in the shirt, and the yellow there. If you were going to pick a base for this team to be on, I'd probably put on a yellow outer, white inner. Such a nice, tidy, clean kit. Similar to the one before, it's that V-neck short sleeve. Lovely short stripes as well on this one, so a lot of double striping as well. Double stripes on the socks, very, very tidy looking kit. And yeah, Leeds were averagely successful during this reign. But yeah, so really, really nice kit. It's the birth of Leeds in all white. That was kit number 1 then, the first of the all white Leeds kit. So that's where things changed for Leeds from that day onwards, from that September game against Middlesbrough. That is where things change. Leeds have been white ever since. And as we said in that little bit of video there, it's often credited to Don Revie. It was and is, but this next one is. This is the 1968 League Cup final strip. Lovely, lovely and clean. Let's take a look at it. Kit then for this episode is the 1968 League Cup final special. Now, Leeds' kit that season was pretty much just a clean all white kit. Now, but for this League Cup final where they met Arsenal at Wembley, Leeds added the owl crest. Now, it's something that sets this kit off. It was in a goldy yellow stitch. Really tidy kit. Nice and clean. Leeds loved the clean strip. They didn't mess around with it too much during the late 60s and 70s. It was pretty much white with no trim. And yeah, this one is no different. Leeds triumphed in this League Cup final by 1-0 over Arsenal. The goal coming from fullback Terry Cooper after just 20 minutes. And Leeds were away. Leeds were away with a trophy. So from a team who struggled from pretty much their inception in 1920 through to, through the 50s and 60s to sort of yo-yo between the divisions, it seemed as though now, under Don Revie, that they were sort of stabilising and improving at a really, really rapid rate, and becoming a bit of a force to be reckoned with in domestic football. We've done all of these ones on the all-white base, the classic Leeds all-white base. I don't think we could have put it on anything else. The kit has got so much white in it. to mess around with it any more than that. And the fact it was a cup final special meant that we wanted to make it traditional for Leeds. Such a simple kit. That kit is so nice. It's so clean. The little gold owl crest looks really, really tidy. Yeah, it's nice. It fits really nicely in the frame. There's another few other kits that are very similar to it, but I think that addition of the owl crest really sets that one off. And it's a cup final, and it was a victorious cup final kit, so had to go in there. The next one is from Don Revie's final season with Leeds. The great man achieved so many great things with Leeds, and here is the kit they wore in that final season of 73-74. This next one then is Leeds United from 1973-74. It was Leeds' 10th successive season in the First Division. They totally eradicated that yo-yo club status and really started to solidify themselves as one of the strongest sides in the country. It was Don Revie's final season as Leeds manager, as at the end of the season he would leave to become England manager. Having almost left earlier in the season to join Everton, but for whatever reason that move didn't take place. Leeds United then won the First Division in this season, finishing ahead of Liverpool by 5 clear points. Some of that partly down, it's believed, to Leeds' playing of weakened sides in the UEFA Cup third round. A strategy from Revie to concentrate on winning the league, and it obviously worked because they did win the league. So this strip obviously is the smiley badge. It was actually worn in some variation under 2 different manufacturers from Umbro and Admiral. This version is from the 73-74 season, which is a round neck version made by Umbro. Base combination wise, only gone with 2. As I said in the previous one, sometimes we use grey as a white replacement, and as we've got all white on the left hand side of this one in the frame, you want to give it something different. So with this one we had to use a different base combination other than all white. So we've got some yellow outer, white inner, and some all greys just to give that aesthetic colour difference. This is actually the first one you might have noticed that has the introduction of the black boots, the black boot that would have probably phased in during the 70s, away from the brown leather, which you would have seen on all the previous kits. Again, a nice simple Leeds kit. The badge created simply by painting a yellow circle and then doing the blue work in and around it. This is it then, my favourite kit in this entire frame. Not because I like it in real life, but in studio format. Oh, it looks so good. Easily my favourite. Any base combination you put this on, it would look absolutely incredible. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to show you guys it here. I mean, I put a picture out of this on Twitter about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, of before the Admiral logos and after the Admiral logos, and to be fair, he got some really, really good and positive responses. So I'm really excited to show you guys the finished item. It is Leeds United from 1977 to 79. I'm going to talk to start with. I'm just going to let you admire this kit. I am so impressed with how this one turns out. Without a shadow of a doubt, it is my favourite kit in this frame. Not because I like the kit in general, but I think in Subbuteo it just works so well. Those Admiral logos running up the shorts and the sleeves are just an absolute touch of class. A nice simple sock with the double ring. The combination of the yellow and the blue with that main white colour, as I said, those 3 colours just work so well. This was the one they would have worn from 1977 to 79. This was the sort of period Leeds took a dip following the departure of Don Revie in 1974. Obviously bringing in the controversial character, should we say, of Brian Clough, who lasted just 44 days in the job. And whilst his replacement, Jimmy Armfield, was able to take Leeds to a European Cup final in the 74-75 season, the team itself started to struggle in the league. And in the 77-78 season, they finished in 9th place, sandwiched between Aston Villa and Man United. 78-79, they did improve. and qualified for the UEFA Cup round 1 by finishing 5th, but was some way short of the title winners Liverpool, who won the league ahead of Leeds. Were 18 points ahead of Leeds throughout that season. But to be honest with you, who cares about any of that when the kit looks this good? So impressed with it. Easily my favourite. I'm going to leave it on there for another couple of seconds just so you can admire it. What a beautiful kit. I mean, you have to agree with me, in Subbuteo format, that looks so good. Those Admiral logos have come out really, really nicely. I'm so happy with them, so excited about it. I might even paint a team of it for myself because I think it looks better than a bog standard Leeds. Well, they didn't perform that well wearing it. Aesthetically, it's way better than just a plain white shirt. The next ones then are a home and away kit combo. Probably Leeds' most famous of away kits is coming up in this one. We've got the kits from 86 to 88, and we've got a little time-lapse video here of us creating that Burton away kit. These two then are the only home and away combos we've got in this episode. It is the home and away kits from 1986 to 1988. The classic Burton kits. Now, the yellow one especially, I know is massively popular amongst shirt collectors, and I'd say it's probably one of the most popular Leeds kits ever made. The yellow's slightly paler than a normal sort of Humbrol yellow, so we've custom mixed it for this, and we showed you in the time-lapse video how we created it. In 86-87, Leeds were back in the second division then. That sort of formidable period of the late 60s, early to mid-70s had completely gone by the time we reached the mid-80s. Gone were the days of Revie, Clark, Gray and Hunter. These are the days of Aspin, Sheridan and Ritchie. Yeah, exactly. Leeds finished 4th in the second division during the season, managed by former player Billy Bremner. but missed out on promotion via the playoff spot, and things didn't get any better in 87-88. In fact, they got worse for these two beautiful kits as Leeds finished down in 9th in mid-table. Base combination wise, we've gone with the all yellow for all of the away kits. Sort of mixed the long and short sleeve variants up for both home and away. Just a really, really nice tidy base combination, all yellow. Works really well. There's a lot of blue on this kit, so I didn't feel we needed the blue in the base. Home kits, we've got 4 different base combinations, any of which would work. But if you were going to have this, personally, if I was going to have this as a home and away kit team, then I would avoid the one with the yellow inner disc just because it would clash. There'd be no point using the away kit if you've got a yellow inner disc. So I'd probably lean towards probably the blue outer, white inner, or the white outer, blue inner if I had to. But the yellow outer, white inner would also work nicely. Last but not least then is the 1992-93 season. It's a season that Leeds are going to want to forget, but it's a very special season in English football as it was the inaugural season of the now rich and famous Premier League. Leeds were champions heading into this season and they wore this admirable effort for it. Final kit for episode 2 then is Leeds United from 1992-93. Now Leeds were champions heading into this season, having won the first division, so come back from that sort of mid to late 80s second division down in the mire to come back to the first division and win the first division. It was the very first season of the Premier League, and Leeds were absolutely diabolical, finishing in 17th position in the Premier League. So the champions almost getting relegated, staying up by just 2 points. It was, again, as we mentioned in episode 1, Leeds' home form was absolutely imperious during this season, despite the fact they only stayed up, as we said, by 2 points. They managed only 1 defeat at home, and that was to the hands of 20th place 20th place Nottingham Forest. 20th place Nottingham Forest. 20th place Nottingham Forest. However, Leeds were utter rubbish on the road, not winning a single game away from Elland Road, and like we said, only stayed up by 2 points. It wasn't any better in the Champions League then, which was also in its first season in its new format, where Leeds were beaten by Rangers. All in all, a pretty awful season for Leeds, but the kit itself was actually quite tidy and a nice mixture of club colours in there again, so the white, the blue and the yellow, and Admiral once again trying to put as many logos as possible onto a pair of shorts. Slightly different from the ones before, rather than the side stripes, it's the sort of underbanding at the bottom of the shorts. Base combination wise, as we've said before, using grey as an alternative to white just to break up the white balance in the frame. We've got one there on the classic Leeds all white. Personally, I think I would have this on a yellow outer and white inner. Then the end of episode 2. We've covered over 30 years of Leeds United history then, from the very first white kit that they ever wore as a home strip, all the way up until that first Premier League season where Leeds were absolutely terrible. Some beautiful kits in there, some nice simple ones, but some really good use, again, of those 3 colour combinations. We said in episode 1, sometimes when you bring in a third colour, it can really make things work. There are times when it doesn't work. I don't think Leeds have stumbled across any of those yet, where adding that third colour doesn't work. I love these kits, especially that mid to late 70s one with the Admiral logos all over it. I don't think Admiral could get any more logos on a kit if they tried. I think it's just such a tidy kit. It works so well. I'm so happy with it. But yeah, that's that. So if you've liked this video, please give it a like, guys. As I've said before, let's get that YouTube algorithm working in my favour. Let's boost this video. Let's boost this content. Let's try and grow this channel. We're at about 210 subscribers at the moment. I'd love to get that up to 220. Maybe by the end of, I don't know, the next 5 or 6 days after this video comes out. We'd really appreciate if you guys could support me. So if you do want to stick around and you do want to see some more content, click that red subscribe button and go back through the back catalogue. We've got quite a lot of videos on this channel, all of different kinds, some restoration work, some other series we've done about other kits and things like that. A Q&A, which we're going to probably do another one of maybe in the next week, 2 weeks. I need to get some questions forward. So if you do have any questions you want to ask me for a Q&A video, pop them in the comments below, or you can tweet me on our Twitter handle at West_TS. Apart from that though, guys, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later.